This was very interesting. So this ticket price, we learned from this, was not an absolute barrier that was removed when the admission is free because people cannot afford to go. All the people could afford to go there. But they found the relationship between offer and ticket price not as good enough for them. If they do not pay, the relationship between costs of visit and what I get was better because they can have a piece of cake in the museum's cafe and drink a coffee or buy a book or whatever. So this gave us a really new view on the role of the free admission. In the political discourse, it's always said, we must have a free admission because people with less money must have the chance to come there. Of course, these people also exist. We found them also in the study, but actually it was not more than 20%. All the rest just came because their personal calculation, what do I have to pay and what do I get, was bettered by free admission. So these are deeper insights you may not gain when you just look at the figures. It helps you. Qualitative studies may help you to interpret. Okay. Survey method, we can just go over it and go to the types of survey methods we have. Well, there's of course a large number of different survey methods, but here are the most important ones. On the one hand, there are written surveys, oral interviews, and then certain types like face-to-face, telephone, and so on. In most cases, when doing visitor studies, we do written surveys, which means we develop a questionnaire and pass it over onto the visitors, and he fills it out by himself. It's very cost effective, of course. You save interview time. You have no influence of an interviewer. It's also valuable, but you have no control about the interviewing situation. If you pass the questionnaire to a visitor, the visitor takes it and goes to some place, some table, whatever. And what you often find is then most of the visitors come in a group, mostly with a partner, and then partners are filling out the questionnaire together. They're discussing together. What shall I write here? Okay, and then when people do this, you cannot judge, well, what is the quality of the answers now? Yeah, who is this saying? Is this the male partner, the female partner? Is it a mixture of both? Whatever. So no control about, or little control. So you have to have this in mind, and say also to the visitors, please fill the questionnaire out by yourself. Only one questionnaire by one person, as an example. You can also do questionnaire by digital versions. For instance, we did this also very often by producing a QR code. People who don't have time get a paper with a QR code, and later they use this QR code and then can fill out the questionnaire by themselves, wherever they are. The experience with this method is not good. The response rate, if you give a QR code, the response rate here is around 5%. 95%. Forget it, or lose it, or whatever. So it's best to capture the visitors when they are still in the venue. Oral surveys Another possibility. Oral surveys have the possibility to make much longer interviews because they can motivate the respondents. You can say, it's just only a few questions still. You do a written survey and it is too long, people just finish the interview without completing the questionnaire. When you have a personal interviewer, you can do interviews more thoroughly, more in depth. You can ask more questions. Motivation to participate is higher, and also the interviewer may clarify questions the respondent has. But it's expensive and it's time consuming. When we do our non-visitor studies, we in most cases use oral service, where we have interviewers that make telephone calls in the households on a representative basis. You cannot do this, but it does not function very well doing this with the written interviews. In this cases, we do oral interviews where the interviewer can help and can motivate the interviewers. Yeah, and then another question is also then how often do I make this study? And here we have the so-called one-shot survey, which means you do a survey maybe once a year and every year, and you compare the results. But there are also so-called trend studies where you do interviews with the same questionnaire in a short period of time. For instance, every 2 weeks or every month. The reason for this is that the institution wants to know when it does its marketing activities, when it's doing its media campaign. They want to know how does my reach develop? How does it develop? How many people do know about the exhibition? How many people know about the event? And this is very difficult to judge just by one study, because the effect of a media campaign develops by time, sometimes very slowly. And in these cases, they do, for instance, an example, film distributors. Before the movie is released in the cinemas, they do their media campaigns, their marketing campaigns, and they make trend service every week. Every week. And there they trace the popularity of the movie and the knowledge of the movie and interest of the target group to see it. And they watch how it goes up. And they have benchmarks. And when they see that despite they do a lot of marketing, the people of visitors who like to see this movie remains small, they do not bring it into the cinema. They just stop it. Yes? Yes, I wanted to know this. This is the last point. After that, it's a good point to make a break. And the last thing is a panel study, which means not only same questionnaire, but also interviewing the same people. Same people, same questionnaire. Why that? This is very interesting when you want to know whether there is a shift in attitudes among your audience. When you interview different people from one time to the other, you do not see whether there are same changes within the target group. I give you I have your break in mind. Just here, Here, for instance, this is an example. Here, for instance, here is a survey that is done asking people, do you want to go to a theater performance in December? And this survey is done among the subscribers of the theater. So people say then 500, they say, in October I will go and see this performance in December. Next survey in December says 500 people. So it may look like nothing has changed. Also will not go 500 in October, 500 in December. Nothing has changed. But it may be completely different. It may be that the 500 from October that want to go completely changed their mind in December. 500 that will not go. And the 500 that will not go in October then completely changed their mind to go in December. So there is something between no shift or total shift by almost 100% turnover of the audience. So this changes. Obviously, you only get when you ask the same people. If you only look at different people, you cannot see these changes. So this is the reason why many theaters do interviews with their subscribers by email. It's done very easy, where they find or can find out whether the attitudes towards the program has changed over time or not. So this is a tool where you get very precise information.